Now, as you can see, I have separated all the parts based on color and put them into separate trays. I've always done this when I make when I start painting my kits. And obviously here's charcoal. There's a lot of charcoal here, an extreme amount. Here's the white armored parts. Here's the blue armored parts. Very few of the blue, a lot of white here. And this is my miscellaneous tray of yellow, red, and clear. And right now I'm in the process of removing the leftover plastic that's on the parts, and then sanding them down and cleaning it. And somebody sent me an email a while back asking me why don't I show that anymore? I used to show that a lot. You know what? I should at least do a little demonstration of how I remove excessive or leftover plastic. So let's see if I can try this. I have one of the thigh armored parts here. Let's get a little closer and zoom in. There we go. Here's some of the leftover pieces, as you can see. Now, there are two ways, of course, to removing this. You could either use your clippers, which, if you do, this is one thing I want to tell you guys. Always know how your tools work and experiment it on other kits so that way you don't damage your own. I've grown to learn that there are specific parts or specific points on the blade that will work with me. So let me bring it up here. Like there, I like to use the end of the blade, and then I like to carefully, crush it a bit. Not too much, just enough to pick up whatever and then snap it off and leave whatever that's there. And then there we go. You really got to have patience and be very careful not to damage the plastic. There we go. Now, this will removing these plastic parts with the clippers should go in conjunction with your hobby knife. But again, you have to be very careful. Let me see if I can focus in. And very, I have a tendency of doing this, so obviously don't do that. But carefully shave it off as best as possibly can. Don't dig it in too much, because you may end up making an indent, in which case you're going to have to use putty to fill it in. I've made that mistake many times. It'd be funny if I made the mistake now. Now, even if you left a little bit there, let me see if I remove this. Okay, I think that's it. Even if you left a little bit there, you now finish it off, of course, with sanding paper. Now I'm using this one is this is the which one is this? P320. It's very abrasive in a way, but I like to do this on this area like this till it smooths out. Later on, I will sand it down a little bit further using either what was it? I'm sorry, I'm babbling here. Here we go. I'll use the P600, and then P800, and then P1000. to smooth out the plastic. Now, why would I want to smooth that out? Clearly, it's going to probably not, matter when you paint, but yes, it does, because when you prime it, priming pretty much shows a lot of the bumps and bruises of the kit. It will hide the scratches pretty well, but if your scratches are too deep, you want to smooth it out a bit further. So that's pretty much the whole purpose of this. So that one came out okay. So I'll smooth out the rest later on, because then I haven't finished removing all the parts yet. But there you go. So with that, let's move on to the next segment. So at this moment in time, I'm drying off the parts that I have washed, and I carefully sanded all the parts that have the exposed leftover plastic. I'm going to dry this out, put them off to the side, let them dry, and then I'm going to put them on my clippers to prime. I began reviewing the manual a bit, and I'm going to cut some corners. Not completely so where I'm going to fake it or anything like that, just on specific parts. For one thing, I've noticed that I really do not need to paint the entire inner frame metallic gray, which is the color which I'm going to be using. It'll probably take a little too long, and I don't have enough clippers to actually put on these parts. Plus, I run into the fact that if I do paint the inner frame part, where it will have to go into another part, I may damage it, or may be impossible for me to actually put the parts together during the assembly. You gotta understand, these parts are specifically made to fit one another when you put them together. If you begin painting it over the ridges, the pegs, the holes, then it'll cause, an extra layer of paint. The extra layer of paint will cause the part for not to fit properly. You may even do more damage than good by doing something like that. So you want to at least clean. You could prime the part, the part as well, but not too much. Now, I'm not referring to the armored parts going on top of the inner frame. I'm talking about the inner frame while it's moving, because those parts are going to be moving a lot. So I'm going to do something which I haven't done in a long time. I've done it with the the Strike Freedom full burst mode kit, and that is building the inner frame. Let's see how it looks like. So this is what the Deathscythe looks like when it's naked. And I have to say, the engineering quality of the inner frame looks very nice. Yeah, I know this does not look like its face, but I decided to just keep it all inner frame and omit the faceplate. But the quality is very nice, very unique. And I'm going to begin to remove the parts. As you see here, it's already done. You could say it's done to this point, but I'm going to remove the charcoal parts by specific sectionals. Actually, I'll remove the arm. The shoulder armor, or the shoulder frame, has to be taken apart, because this thing has a tendency of popping open for some unknown reason. So I think I'll just unpop it, paint it, and then pop it back in again. Maybe don't have to worry about gluing it, because when I put the armor over it, it actually acts as a wedge and holds it down. So that one I know how to work with. The body had no problem putting together, and I don't have to take that apart, so that's going to be sprayed as one. I didn't put the pilot in there, as you can see. I wonder if the camera focuses. No, it does not. So There's too much shadow in there, so I guess you can't see it. But I can actually, if I knew where I put the stupid palette, you can actually get the tweezers and stick them in there if I want to. The legs, I can easily remove the foot guard, which actually holds this the ankle armor. I'm going to leave this all as one part, except I'm going to remove this guy as well. I think the waist, I'm going to definitely have to remove these side skirts, which I'm not feeling it. The front side skirt's fine. The back side skirts, I think I remember Prime 92 and other people commenting that these things will pop off, so wow, can't believe they decided to jip out on that. Clearly the backpack is going to be removed, and of course I have about I have all these here, these leftover charcoal parts. Yeah, he falls. That needs to be sprayed individually. So I think this is kind of nice. I really do like it. The one big surprising part of this kit is how small it is. Yet how detailed, but how small. To give you a side-by-side comparison, here's the Master Grade Strike Freedom next to Deathscythe Master Grade. Kind of big, right? Well, anyway, enough of this dilly-dallying. Let's get started on priming Deathscythe. Alright, so I've placed all the parts, the blue, the white, the charcoal completed parts, the yellow, and the smaller parts I put it on a double-sided tape on a cardboard, and it's now prepared to be primed. And I got my trusty Mr. Surfacer 1200 primer, which now I want to take a minute to discuss about this. Around my area, around all the hobby stores that I pick up my equipment, my tools and supplies, I discovered that no one had any primer left. I couldn't find anybody who was selling the Mr. Surfacer primers, nor was I able to locate the Tamiya Primers. Now this one I have very, very little insight. You know, I feel a little bit of prime in there, but I know that it's not gonna help me fill out all these parts. And the reason why I couldn't find any primer in, by the way, the New Jersey area, was the fact that because of what has happened in Japan with the earthquake and the reactors failing and spewing a little bit of radiation in the air, Japan has taken measures to making sure that no products that they make, like aerosol cans or spray cans or whatever type of, I guess, merchandise or products that can absorb radiation, leaves the states, or leaves the Japan territory in fear that it will not, affect anything. They're keeping it in storage. It's quite possibility that we're not going to see any primer from Japan for at least 1 year until they deem it safe. So for those of you out there who are model builders like me, better go online and find places here in the United States to see if they're selling primer. I got 2 of these cans already. I already paid like about $10 a piece plus shipping. And these 2 cans should last me for at least 3 kits. I may have to buy another one just in case. So primer is at a premium now. You better get your hands on it. I know that there's other brands. I think there was a tester primer, but it's for enamels. I don't know the brand and I don't want to risk it. So I just work with what I know works. So here are the parts before priming